All right, ladies and gentlemen, time for a little fast lap action on a Wednesday morning on the YouTube channel, the Rumble channel, and all over the place here this morning. And it's Bruce Wayne alongside Andrew DeLay and Andy. We talked about him. We keep talking him up. We keep hyping him up because we know Bristol is right around the corner for the Arkham Menard series, and you know who that is, don't you?
That's right. We got Josh White, our resident burning rubber radio army driver, with us today. What's up, Josh?
Not a whole lot, man. Just man, I tell you what, I've been busy.
That's what we hear anyway. That sponsor calls, all sorts of stuff. Like you got it going on, brother.
Hey, man, I'm working it. We still got sponsorship opportunities available. I'm trying to get everybody I can on board. We're aiming to win Bristol. We wanna come home with that win, man.
And the most recent one here, you were telling us you had a sponsor meeting last week here, and it sounds like you've potentially secured another sponsor coming up. And that was the whole point of this week's interview, or even last week's, if we would have been able to get you on here. You've got a whole bunch of new people that you want to really throw some shout outs to here before you get ready to go run that Bristol race.
Oh yeah, man, I've got Freedom Financial Strategies, Dex Fingerlight. I've got Bilson Arms, MA 22. I've got Devil Dog Canine. The Marine Corps League is sponsoring this
Yeah.
event, sponsoring me. We've got Second Chance Hunt, Swift's Garage, J&K Lift Services, the Not Alone Society, and Burning Rubber Radio. Y'all heard it first. 23rd Veteran is coming on board. They are on board as a sponsor as of this morning.
Beautiful.
Excellent. Hoorah, man. That's awesome.
And the other big thing too, and you notice, folks, by all the sponsors that Josh has called out, a big military focus with all of those sponsors. And Josh, there's a reason behind that, because you yourself have military service in your background. And for folks that don't know about who you are prior to everything you've had going on as far as motorsports and stuff like that, tell folks about yourself.
Well, I served in the Marine Corps from 2009 to 2015, and I was a combat engineer at 4th Combat Engineer Battalion, Alpha Company, and I'm the first Marine Corps veteran or Marine period, to have raced NASCAR since 1966. I was
Wow.
the first one since then, the second ever, and hopefully, hopefully we win Bristol. If we win Bristol, I'll be the first Marine to win at Bristol in NASCAR history.
That would be pretty badass, wouldn't you think, Andy?
Yeah.
Definitely badass. Of course, Josh is a brother because I'm a Marine too. Thus, I guess in Marine Corps terms, I can call you a boot. Look at the reaction, folks. That's a Marine Corps thing. Being I served from 1984 to 1989.
Oh
man.
And,
Lord,
and don't get
I'm
it confused, Andy. He's not a rookie like in your law enforcement life.
no, not at all. But super excited, brother. Got the Marine Corps League, rah on. And this is going to be awesome to see how the car is going to be stickered.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be awesome, man. I've also got the Eagle Rising Foundation with us. It's just a slew of support. There's also some charities that I'm supporting that's going to be riding along with us at Bristol. Healing the Hero. We've got Canine Heroes for Heroes, Right to Heal, Frontline to Field. Remember Everyone Deployed, 22-0. And yeah, man, it's going to be great. It's going to be a really interesting wrap, I'll tell you that. Now, the Marine Corps League actually is doing a fan sponsorship program for their organization and all the members that's within it. We're going to see what that comes up. They're trying to, do that, and what it is, their members donate, and they'll get their name on the car. They might end up taking the hood of the car. We'll see.
Wow.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, man! I'd love to see. I'd love to see a Marine Corps globe and anchor on the car anyway. But if you look, folks will say, "Well, wait a second. We had a Marine racing about 10 or 15 years ago. That was not a United States Marine running that 25 car back in the day. That was Bobby Hamilton Jr., who was not and is a nice, wonderful guy. I love Bobby. He's an acquaintance of mine, but was not a United States Marine. So I would love to see the Globe and Anchor out there with with you, of course, United States Marine behind the wheel, and it's just great stuff. Now, of course, we're talking Bristol, which is I want. You're going to win this thing, man. I'm not going to take the mojo away, but we all know that Bristol can be a crapshoot when it comes to idiots hitting you and all that other stuff there.
It's
but,
the super speedway of short tracks.
Yes.
Well, I have a plan.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
My plan is to get the pole, and then whenever I start the race, I'm going to outrun just everybody.
I love it.
That's the way to do it.
I love it.
That way you can put the bumper to the back markers as you come back around and slap them.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? You know what? His plan sounds eerily similar to that of one Corey Heim from this past weekend at Lime Rock Park, where Heim takes the pole and just goes flag to flag with the whole damn thing.
There you go. Mm-hmm. That's what I want to happen. Now, looking down the road, of course, you said possibly maybe another race this season, or 2 or 3, or hopefully more.
Yeah, I mean, we're working on it. Most of the interest that I have right now is for Bristol, because of the significance of it. What we're doing, but it's not out of the realm. We're planning on Bristol, Salem, and then Kansas. And now, rather if that happens or not, that's a different story. I'm working on it, but Bristol is for sure happening. It is in stone. I am racing Bristol.
Nice.
Yes, that's great. Now, you said Salem. That is Bristolish. Last time I was out at Salem, of course, Burning Rubber Radio for years covered the ARCA Menard series. Actually, it was ARCA Remax series back in those days out at Salem. And I heard that Salem has been paved and is a flat, open, crazy fast track right now, being the way it's banked.
Yeah, Salem is a high banked racetrack. It has a lot of character, and a lot of history as well. I ran at Salem a couple times, in 2015, and I loved that track. It's very high speed, and it's just a lot of fun. It's different than Bristol, and it's high banked, but Bristol is concrete, whereas Salem is asphalt. So they're different in that aspect, and the lines that you run as a driver there is going to be different too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes. Definitely. I used to have a hell of a bump coming out of turn 4 at Salem. I wonder if it's there or not still after the replay.
I wonder as well. That was one of my favorite things about that racetrack was that bump coming out. It was just so fun, coming out of turn 4, and you just you feel it, and if you're doing one thing the wrong way, it could upset the car. But that was one of the things that gave that track character, and it made it a lot more fun. That was a big bump. I mean, it's not really a bump; it was a dip.
Yes. That's one thing I remember about the track. But going back to Bristol coming up, what are you doing to prepare? Now, wait, before you answer that, I've seen some of your videos going up there that look very realistic. So I think I know how you're preparing.
Yes. So I am doing a lot of iRacing. As we get closer, I'm going to do a lot more physical training. Right now I'm spending a lot of time on getting sponsors, looking for sponsors and sending emails and having meetings and different things and whatnot. But man, I have got extremely good at Bristol
Hmm.
on iRacing. Like my fastest lap time on Bristol at iRacing was it's a 14.4.
Wow.
God, you're
That's
smoking.
blazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's moving around that track.
Oh yeah. Every time, I'll just as practice, I'll host a race on iRacing.
Hmm.
I swear I do it about every other day. But I every time I have a hosted race and I host the race and I go to race Bristol on iRacing in an ARCA car, we start the race with a good amount of entrants. Like let's say we start with 15 or 20. Um, by the time the race ends, we might have two or three left because everybody just leaves because I'll
It,
lap them.
it,
I guess
it,
it's not.
it,
That's it.
wow. Now, okay. Now here's another question for you, Josh. And, this is a viable one thinking about this here with iRacing and everything like that. Do you have the setup to actually feel all of the bumps in your seat?
Yes, I've got a DOF H3 motion platform,
Nice.
Nice.
yeah, and then I've got a butt kicker Gamer Pro hooked up to that as well, and then of course I've got the force feedback in the wheel. I've got
Hmm.
a Sim Magic Alpha, and then Sim Magic P1000 RS pedal setup. They're inverted, and each pedal vibrates however I set them up. So it's definitely not a entry level setup. But it's pretty crazy. Like I've even got a wind simulator
Hmm.
that the harder, like the faster I go, the harder the wind blows.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool.
So, needless to say, Andy, when we talk about realism as far as iRacing is concerned, there's a lot of guys you hear about in the Coca-Cola iRacing series, which is the top tier level sim racers for a cup and everything like that. You see some of the crazy setups they've got. I don't think anybody's got anything on what Josh has got.
Yeah, that's great stuff. Now, you're saying you're still bringing folks on board. If folks out there are watching that want to get on board this thing, Josh, which I can't wait to see more do. How do they do this?
So just message me on Facebook. You just search Josh White Racing, and there'll be a blue check mark beside Josh White. That's my profile. Just send me a message through there. Or the easiest way might be for them to go to joshwhiteracing.com and send me a message through there. Or they can just email me at joshwhiteracing3@gmail.com.
Very cool.
That's really cool. And then one other thing, this is something that we can't wait for, Bristol. And I'm so thankful that you have involved, excuse me, the Burning Rubber Radio Army and everyone out there that's following this closely. What are some of the dreams moving forward? Now, the other day we had a little chat going on, and I was chanting something: trucks, 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 trucks. Now,
Are you sure you weren't sitting there yelling shot, shot, shot?
no, trucks, man. Uh, I'm looking.
Well,
I'm just curious.
well, the plan is Bristol, Salem, and Kansas. Now,
Yep.
if I do those, that sets me up real well for next season.
Hmm.
That should get me to the point to where ARCA says, okay, we'll approve you for Daytona if you go and test. So we go and test in January, and then we start the season at Daytona in February. Hopefully, we do a full season. Hopefully, we make all this happen. If we do that, then that does set me up to some potential truck starts. If we can make all that happen, we might be able to go back to the trucks next season. Just maybe a race or two, a part-time type thing, and kind of go from there.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know. I'm just at least you'll open up and talk like that. You know how hard it is to get a race car driver to talk about stuff that far in the future. It's
Yeah, well,
impossible.
I guess
But
I'm kind of a dreamer. I just, I have these opportunities, right? And I'm looking for sponsors to make it happen. Now, I'm not a rich kid that brings daddy's checkbook to the racetrack. I don't
that's
have
right.
that opportunity. I wasn't born wealthy. I wasn't raised in a wealthy family. Like I have to do all this And I've had to do all this, myself. And, I've had help along the way. And speaking of which, Burning Rubber Radio is one of them that has helped, thank you guys. But, you know, talking about that, I've got to be able to convey, hey, I have these opportunities. I'm looking for sponsors. And if we get sponsors, this is what we can make happen. And I'm not going to get that message out there if I don't talk about it.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Because this is an awesome thing. You're racing for a cause. First off, you got a hell of a shirt on right now,
Yes,
which
sir.
I love. Hoorah! And hey, listen, Burning Rubber Radio Army. If you were or have a United States Marine that is in your family or that you love or something like that, at least reach out and talk to Josh here. Let him know you're behind him. Everyone, yes, the money, racing isn't cheap, folks, and that's just the way it is. Racing costs a lot of money. So let's his dream is to get out there and run this full time. We're behind that dream 1,000%, more than you can believe. But I want everyone, even if you can't monetarily get behind Josh, please go over there, follow him on his Facebook page, let him know what you think, give him a big hoorah if you're a Marine, and let's keep this momentum going, brother. I'm all excited.
Oh, I'm stoked. For those of you that don't know out there, we also have a fan sponsorship program. There's a few companies that are supporting me that are doing it, and they have their own fan sponsorship program. One of them is a charity called MA22, also known as Ma Deuce Deuce. And then Long Spur Tracking and Outfitting has jumped on that wagon. They have their own fan sponsorship program. And then you can find my fan sponsorship program on my website. What it is, if you donate $25 or more, you get your name on the race car.
Nice.
Or whatever you want to put on the race car. It's obviously we can't put logos on it or anything, but it's text up to a half an inch tall of whatever you want to say. Now, obviously we can't put no big statement or write a book and put it on there, but like your name or your loved one or somebody you want to honor or it's anything.
Being that my unit in the United States Marine Corps was 2nd AAV Battalion, Amtracs, which they've just retired, by the way. There's no more Amtracs. They're now LAVs. But anyway, I digress. But you know what I want to do? I'm going to buy a spot on the car, and I'm going to put my unit slogan on there just because you are an engineer, and put Yaz up there. You ain't tracks, you ain't shit, baby.
Oh, I see how it is. I see how it is. Well, I'll just say one thing, Wayne, or
Andy.
Yeah, Wayne and Andy. Wayne and Andy. Here we go. You ready for it?
Hit us
I
with
can't wait.
Engineers up, baby.
Oh yeah, engineers.
Well, I'll tell you what, it is about that time where we get ready to wrap things up here for the week with you, Josh. But instead of just you ain't tracks, you ain't shit, and engineers up, there's two other things we got to get you to say. It's the traditional shout for one, a big old burning rubber, baby, and then on top of that, we're gonna throw it in here because you're a Marine. Burning rubber, baby, hoorah!
All right, burning rubber, baby, hoorah!
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is Josh White. And Andy, I tell you what, brother, that's going to wrap it down for a fast lap this week here. We'll be back with a gas and go on Friday for the 4th of July weekend coming up in the Chicago Street Race. And I tell you what, if it rains as much in Chicago as it has here in North Carolina the last few days, holy shit. It's going to be an interesting weekend. But with that being the case here, I'm producer Wayne, that's Andrew DeLay, and we will catch you guys on Friday for the gas and go.
Burning rubber, baby.
Yoo-hoo!